Hi guys, and welcome to my very first YouTube video on how to repair a Ford Territory SY Mk2 2009 front right driver's window motor. This one stopped working, and luckily for me the dealer was closed today, otherwise I would have gone and spent upwards of nearly $300 Australian dollars for a new unit. It's a very simple fix. There's 3 screws that need to be removed. Nothing else needs to come out of the vehicle besides the door panel for access to this component. And excuse me for the chopping and changing, but this is the internal part of the motor that we can see here. And there was a lot of carbon buildup in between the grooves where the brushes rotate around that central unit. That was cleaned out with some razor blades. This is the housing unit that you can see where the motor came out of. It comes out fairly simply. From here we're going to just jump to an image of the brushes. There's 2 brushes, one on each side, and mine sort of didn't have good contact. Just pry them with a sharp point. Make sure they have got their springiness and can attach themselves to the central part of the motor themselves. Here's a picture of the housing unit again, where the 3 screws sit behind, and from there you can see the 2 magnets inside the motor. So it did pop out fairly simply. In a second I'll show you how to where to check for resistance. Mine had very high resistance, almost to the point of an open circuit. So at these 2 locations you can either check resistance or attach a 12-volt battery. Once you attach 12-volt battery, the motor should kick over. If it doesn't, it's probably the brushes haven't got good contact. And this is the electrical wiring unit that has to be soldered off for the central part of the motor to come out. Without taking this part off, you will not get the central part of the motor to come out. It's a quite an easy process to take that off. It's just a bit of a wiggle and heating up the soldering points. From here you can see I've cleaned my grooves so there's no carbon buildup in between those slots. And the next image is going to be just me testing the motor after I've put it all back together. Not quite into the housing unit yet, but yeah, just making sure the forwards and backwards works. From there you can see you've got to do a fairly good job of soldering that the wiring plastic unit onto the back of the motor and make sure everything sits in nicely into the motor housing. It's a little bit tricky, but it's nothing a novice can't achieve. You can see the soldering points, the 2 soldering points there, and the electrical housing unit out the back. Just a good point is to make sure to lube everything with a bit of petroleum jelly or Vaseline, in particular the worm gear at the front that goes into the unit itself. And just a point of note, do not buy cheap switches from eBay. This one just failed to stop working altogether. For the front driver's right, the automatic feature didn't work, neither did the up or down. After about 10 minutes of using it as a convenience switch. Here's a little bit of a video of it working up and down. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck if you plan to do it on yours.